Joining me on the show now, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar from Perth. Mr. Gavaskar, just wanted to start by asking about what MS Dhoni has said. He said, I think it was to some extent good bowling and poor selection of shots. That's why we lost. Would you agree?
Yes, it was good bowling by England and poor selection of shots by the Indian batsmen. No question about it. But unfortunately, after the exemplary opening partnership between Shikhar Dhawan and Ajinkya Rahane, nobody showed the same kind of patience, nobody showed the same kind of application. And that is what eventually cost India at least 40 to 50 runs. Because all that they had to do was to follow the example set by Dhawan and by Rahane. They didn't try to do anything, they didn't try to play too many shots in the first half a dozen overs or so. And as they got used to the bounce, and it was never easy to get used to the bounce here at the WACA, they played a little more freely, and it looked a little bit easier as well.
Right, Mr. Gavaskar, Kohli, Raina and Jadeja, they all stepped out and they got out, and they were all trying to hit in the air and not trying to play down the wicket. Was there a need to be in such a hurry? Are you being able to understand the mindset? Because it is probably understandable when you're chasing, but in this case, when you're not chasing, it just didn't make any sense.
No, I can't explain what went through their minds when they played the kind of shots that they did. If they were about 30, 40, or if it was even coming to the last, 8 or 10 overs on to understand the shots that they played. That's exactly what I'm saying, is that if they had shown the same kind of patience that Rahane and Dhawan had shown, then even they could have been amongst the runs. But that didn't quite happen. So that's why India scored only 200. And they have to thank their last wicket for adding those 30, 40 runs for the final wicket. Otherwise, it would have been another 160 all-out situation.
And Mr. Gavaskar, please explain this one to us also. Why did MS Dhoni not bowl out Stuart Binny?
I think you'll have to ask him that why he didn't bowl him out. But it did look as if there was a shortage of ideas at some times. But then, I wouldn't be too critical for the simple reason that I take these matches as just practice matches somewhere where the boys got a feel of the Australian pitches. They got to understand that they've got a lot of hard work ahead of them. And if they understand that, then there is plenty of hope. I'm an optimist. So while the performance here has been disappointing, I wouldn't get dejected by it.
Right. Binny took 3 wickets. So keeping that in mind, Mr. Gavaskar, would you like to see Binny playing versus Pakistan in India's first World Cup match?
I think he's done enough to earn a place in that team. There are a couple of other warm-up matches as well before we take that game on, and perhaps he will be able to get the kind of confidence. But even he has to apply his mind when he's batting, because he also believes that the only way to get runs is to go the aerial route. And on these big Australian grounds and with the extra bounce in the pitch, that is never going to be easy. You'll get the odd connection, you'll get the odd 6. But really, here in Australia, if you can play the horizontal bat shots, play the cut shot and the pull shot, and then be patient, you will get runs. If you try and hit the ball into the crowd, 9 times out of 10, you will be caught in the deep.
Just going back to what MS Dhoni said in his press conference, he said 4 seamers, whenever you play 4 seamers, there have been 2 things very common that happen. One is that India loses the game, and second is that the captain gets banned. Is that a dilemma for him, or is there a way to actually circumvent that ban?
Well, I think losing the game means that the bowlers haven't bowled well. And then maybe, you've got to look at that combination, whether that combination of 4 or another combination would work. That is, again, depending on the opposition and depending on the pitch. But the captain gets banned. I think that is because the bowlers then actually need to be told that they also would be fined much more if the captain gets banned. Because at the end of the day, it is the fact that the bowlers have taken their time in arranging the field, in trying to come and bowl. You see the Indian bowlers, they take their time. They take their time walking back. They take it so slowly. No wonder the captain is worried. And they have long run-ups, and they take a long time. That is something that they need to address very, very quickly. You don't want to get into a situation where the Indian team suddenly finds that it gets into the semi-finals or the finals, and they're playing without their captain.
Right. Virat Kohli, just talking about him, he recorded single-digit 4 times for the first time in his career in this tour. Does that worry you just ahead of the World Cup?
No, it doesn't worry me. And for all those who are saying that why is he batting at 4, why not at 3? See, look, I mean, what the Indian team is doing is very, very simple. They know that he is the man around whom the innings will work. He's the pivot. And therefore, they are trying to protect him when an early wicket falls, when the ball is doing something, when the ball is moving. And when an early wicket falls, he comes in at number 4. When there's a partnership, like there was a partnership today, he comes in at number 3. So I think that is what people should understand, that this is a tactical move to have him at 4. It has worked in India after that horrid series he had in England. When they dropped him to number 4, he started to get runs. I think that is the way the Indian team will go. If they get to a good start, a flying start, he will bat at 3. But he's such a class player, I wouldn't be worried about his 3-4 lean innings, not at all.
Right. MS Dhoni also said one other thing, Mr. Gavaskar. He said that they'll be ready versus Pakistan when come the first match of the World Cup, and also that right now they're looking to just switch off. Do you think they'll be ready versus Pakistan, and is the best possible way, according to you, to actually lock up your kit bags like Dhoni said?
It makes a lot of sense because, you know, this has been a long tour for them. It's been a tour where they haven't won anything. They've lost most of the matches. So yes, I think for them to just lock up their kit bags and go away from the game would be absolutely ideal. Where they go away, I'm not too sure. But yes, spend some time away from the game. Don't think about the game at all, and get together maybe after a week to practice for the first warm-up game, which is on the 8th of February. I think that's what the Indian team should do.